All right, so this part is Brittany's story. I didn't know that my little cousin went through all this. I know that she had issues with endometriosis and that she did have issues with weight gain and getting the weight off and stuff like that. But I didn't know that all of this was tied together. So tune in to her episode, pay attention. Brittany had to, I'm trying not to call her Brit. Brittany had to go through a lot of trials, and it's hard as a woman. Like, women are so downplayed, like their pain is downplayed. A lot of women die during childbirth. A lot of women, their symptoms and stuff are dismissed. It, like in her case, some of it was because a lot of the things we know now were not known back then when she first was dealing with the issues. But even now, it's a lot of stuff that's just downplayed when it comes to women. Women can go and say they feeling all these pains. And I read so many stories after I recorded with Brittany. And it's so many women that die like during childbirth because they say, you know, something don't feel right. I'm not feeling good. Their child died because, you know, they're telling them this, and that is wrong. And the doctors don't pay them no mind. A woman can say she's in pain. And I don't even want to say specifically Black women, because I know Black women have a higher rate of dying during labor and aftercare and all of that stuff. But just women in general, they go through so much. And Brittany's story is only one of the many stories where the pain and all the issues she was dealing with was just dismissed. So I'm so glad that she was able to find a doctor that actually, where her doctor started to listen to her and hear what she was saying, and everything was figured out. And she got her baby Aubrey now. So I'm so happy for my little cousin. It was many times that I was wondering when she was gonna have a baby. And don't be like me. Even if you wondered in your head, don't speak that out loud, because you don't know what people are going through. So I'm happy for you, Brittany. I'm super proud of you as your big cousin. You're doing great. You're gonna be a great mom. You have a wonderful team around you. So yeah, enjoy motherhood. You're gonna do great at it. I love you. What was your story? I know that you had to deal with two different type of diseases. Is it a disease? They call it considered disease?
So she had fibroids, and so so endometriosis and PCOS, and so let's see. I was starting to have my first pains in high school, like just
From endometriosis.
From the endometriosis, I'm guessing. But I mean, like the very first time I experienced it. Well, this may have been my PCOS too. But I remember I was sitting at the lunch table. I was probably 16 years old, and I got up to throw my tray away. And you know how you slide your chair back and getting ready to stand up fully, and you kind of still leaned over a little bit, and I couldn't stand up, and I just sat there. And I was at the table full of guys, because the guy that I was dating at the time was sitting there, so I was with him at the table, and I was kind of embarrassed because I was like. And I was on my cycle too, so I knew it was something woman related, and I didn't want no one to know what was going on. So I just kind of sat there leaning over the table, and he was like, "You good?" And I was like, "Something wrong. I can't stand up." And he was like, "What?" I was like, "I can't stand up." And that's like when everything just started. Yeah, like at that moment. So throughout high school, I was having crazy, painful periods. That first day, I mean, diarrhea. When I say vomiting, to like, I probably would lose, like within one day, on my first day of my cycle, I would lose probably 8 pounds easy. That first day. And if I could get past that first day, I can see day 2, 3, 4, 5. But it affected my nervous system. Like, I didn't like to wear clothes. I mean, it was a day my dad had to come in the bathroom and the school and help get me out the bathroom off the floor, like, and driving 5 miles an hour, because like it was down to my nervous system. Like the pain was just everywhere. Like I could feel it everywhere. I didn't want to wear clothes. I didn't want a sheet on me.
Nothing. This is PCOS?
I don't know really. I mean, I don't deal with it now, but that's just when I first started, and my mom was taking me to doctor after doctor, like trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, and like back then they was not educated on a lot of stuff, and doctors then, because I would say that's been like 10 years. So just in a short amount of time, you just see a lot of awareness already just within 10 years. But
I ain't never heard nothing about her, man.
Yeah, and I mean, my doctors will be like, "Oh, she's been over exaggerating. She's just been
I don't like how they dismiss women, bro. Like,
and I even had a doctor wanted me to go get a CAT scan with iodine, and I did for something. And when the doctor looked over it, and I was 16 at the time, when not even the doctor, I think it was the technician that was doing it. She looked over and she told my mom, she's like, man, she's young and she has a lot of scarring already. You know, like, that's not a good sign. Yeah. Like, something's going on. But my doctor just brushed it off. Like,
she don't know what she's talking about.
Like, whatever. Like, fine. She's just, you know. And then, you know, they're throwing birth control at me. Put her on birth control.
They thought birth control fixed everything.
And you know, I mean, come on, you know my mom. You know how we were raised too.
Not in the church. We ain't get on no birth control.
Because to my mom, that was probably like an open invitation.
For you to be out there doing
you can go do whatever you want. And so I never pressed my mom to put me on it because I was old enough to know my mom was processing this too. And I did feel like my mom was doing the best she could. And so, I mean, we didn't know what was going on. So, but it took her a little while to come along to say, okay, we'll try it.
Yeah.
And I remember thanking my mom when I had my first cycle with the birth control. I went up to her and told her, thank you. Like, I feel like a normal girl. Like, I don't have to miss school. I don't have to, it's not crazy heavy. It's just a normal period. Like, I feel like a normal girl. But, so I was on that for a while and I got off, and when I went off to college, I got off of it just to see how my body would balance out. And it was better. I wasn't having cycles like I used to. And when I was, in college, I was smoking. So, and that's another topic right there, because I honestly, and I can't do it now because I have a job, that drug test, of course, but I haven't smoked since I was 19. When I decided I was going to work in a plant, I literally quit all that. So it's been a while, but when I was off at college, you know, I was smoking with my friends, and I think that played a huge part in just my wellness. Like, everything was functioning like a normal. My hair was growing. I was just like, I was flourishing, man. Yes. So that's a whole nother topic. But when I came back home from school, trying to figure out, okay, what I really want to do in my life, I was 19, and the weight just started piling on out of nowhere. And I mean, I went running every day. I was watching what I was eating. I was in the gym every day. And it was drastic. Like, I had just met John, and I was in the best shape of my life when I met him. And it's like, within that first year, I had gained like 40 pounds. And we was like, what's going on? He ain't signed up for that.
The little young thing.
But the crazy thing is, I was working out.
Yeah.
So I was like,
no sense.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah. And, you know, at that age, I wasn't trying to have no kids. Or nothing. I wasn't thinking about it now. I was just enjoying life. And I think, I don't know, I probably gained another 20 pounds or so. But I was starting to have my painful periods again. Like, after a year or so of me not smoking anymore, it's like everything, my hair was falling out like crazy. My hair had got like real short, and it was just always breaking off. And I was like, man, what's going on? And my periods is what made me start going to the doctor. I was going to a gynecologist there in Lake Jackson, and I was telling her, man, something not right.
Yeah.
And she told me, you're just becoming a woman. I was 20 years old.
That would have pissed me the fuck off.
21 years old. And I was like, this is what becoming a woman feels like
do it no more.
at 20 years old. Like, there's no way. Like, I don't know. I just think I had sense enough to know this is not what this should feel like. Yeah, no. I mean, I didn't hear my friends saying this. Yeah. So I'm just like.
So they not a woman?
Yeah, I'm just like, no, this ain't what becoming a woman is. Yeah. She'll just tell me, you need to lose weight. Can I stand when doctors just say that? Because you don't know what's going on metabolically with a person just for you to say that, you know. And so, let's see. Actually, what helped me find out that I had things going on, I found out I had hypothyroidism. And I was at work, working out there down in the labs. And I was tripping. Like, I mean, when I say, like, having a whole Britney Spears breakdown, like, out of nowhere, my boss would have to send me home from work because I mentally wasn't myself. And it was a Friday. It it was a Friday, and I was on the phone with my mom, and I had left to go get lunch. And I told my mom, something ain't right. Like, I just don't feel like myself. Like, I think, like, I could do something to myself. I don't feel right. And then all of a sudden, while I'm driving, I forgot that I was on the phone with my mom. I mean, she was on my car speaker. I literally forgot that I was talking to my mom on the phone, mid-conversation, and I forgot where I was at. Like, I literally felt like a kid lost on 288 driving. Like, I didn't know where I was. And then my mom started talking on the phone, and I just snapped out of it. And I was like, oh my God, I just broke her car. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know where I was at. I didn't know anything. Like, I just, yeah, like, I literally, Lake Jackson did not look familiar to me at all. She was like, you need to go to the doctor right now. Like, right now. I didn't even go back to work. I went right to the doctor's office. And I told her what was going on. And she said, either you're pregnant or it's your thyroid. I was like, okay. So, of course, they checked for pregnancy. That was negative. And they did blood work, and they told me it was my thyroid. So, started taking Synthroid, levothyroxine, for my thyroid. I was feeling better, and then I just still fell off. Like, something wasn't clicking still. So, I remember I had a well woman exam, and I went, and it was the nurse practitioner instead of the doctor. Because last year I had seen the doctor, and she kind of blew me off. So I was talking to her, and she was like, anything new? And I was like, yeah, I got hypothyroid. And she was like, oh, okay. So she's giving me a little rundown of, what I need to be doing. And then I told her, I said, but something just is off still. It's not, I don't feel myself. So she was like, let's do a hormone panel on you. You ever had one done? I said, no. So she did a hormone panel. I went back. They called me back into the office. So I was like, something is wrong for them to call me instead of just saying everything looks good on the phone. Yeah. So I went back, and the doctor came in instead of the nurse practitioner. And she was like, have you ever heard of PCOS? And I was like, no. She was like, so there's 3 tests you can do. And if you fail 2 of them, that means you have it. So pretty much the first one, they were able to tell by my hormones that my testosterone was high. And we all produce a little testosterone as women, but mine was like, just like, yes, just like, and that's your first sign. And then I think another one was the insulin resistance, and I was insulin resistant. Yeah, not even knowing, but the testosterone causes that. I didn't even know. So that there. And the third test was if your periods were not, like, you didn't have normal cycles, you were off. But I was very regular. I was never dealt with not being regular. So I failed those 2 tests with my insulin and my testosterone. So it's just like, because you failed those 2, you have it. So I was like, okay. So I started doing my digging at that time to figure out what I need to do. And of course, our doctor was just like, lose some weight and everything will change.
Say it again.
But this is down to the metabolic system of your body. I cannot go and do what another woman that might not be dealing with this is doing, because my body is literally programmed, wired to gain weight. My doctor, I had a gastric sleeve during my process of having a child. My gastric sleeve doctor, let me get to that. I'll get to that later, but I just started doing my digging, but still going to my gynecologist, telling her I was in pain all the time for my period. She would always brush me off. So finally I went in there, and I kind of had an attitude, like, you gonna find out what's wrong.
Was she a white woman?
No, she was Indian.
Okay.
But I love her now. I love her now. I think that she just thought I was being over dramatic. And I think, like we were saying then, they were not really
knowing.
Like, I guess, sitting down and doing research. Like, it's real. And the crazy part is, other countries take these issues more serious. I mean, women can get disability for these things. The U.S.
Not in America.
It's different. So, like, we get different treatment here. You got to tough it out here. Yeah. So, but so she had told me that day that I went in, she was like, you know what? We're gonna I'm just gonna do exploratory surgery.
Okay.
Exploratory. She was like, I just want to see. Like, you say you're in all this pain, I just want to see.
So they cut you open and looked inside?
Yeah, so they did DNC surgery, so I don't even know what that means, but it's called a DNC.
I think DNC, they may do that like after miscarriages.
They will do it then too.
They may do it if needed. Like, I never had to have one. I think because my miscarriages were so early.
Okay.
But I think the later you are, they have to do a DNC. And they got to go in and pretty much scrape you out.
Yeah. So at the time, I didn't know I was getting that done though.
She just went in there and didn't tell you?
Well, we were doing exploratory because we didn't know what was going on. It's just like, I'm going to do it. I'll be in there for 30 minutes. You're going to wake up. You'll be fine. So I'm like, okay. And I remember my mom, Ja was there with me. I went in for my surgery. I was 22 maybe at the time. Went in, and when I woke up, the amount of pain I was in, and I just knew I was asleep. You know, when you wake up from surgery, you don't have no grasp on time, how much time. But something told me I was asleep for a really long time. But I was in so much pain too at the same time, so they just put me right back to sleep. Gave me some more time, like, get myself together. And when I woke up, I was like, what is going on? Like, why am I feeling like somebody just slaughtered me?
Yeah.
And the doctor was like, look, I don't know what I just witnessed. She was like, for you to be so young, so pretty much endometriosis, the best way to explain it, it's like having a cold drink. And when it's so cold, it starts, perspiring on the outside. So just imagine your uterus. You have the tissue on the inside, and on your periods, it becomes liquid. And then you restart every month. So pretty much every time my body tells myself to have a cycle,
just building up,
it starts turning to liquid, but my uterus starts perspiring that tissue on the outside. And then when your period is over, that hormone that causes it to liquefy is gone now. And so everything starts hardening back up to that soft tissue. And now I have this soft tissue on the outside of my uterus, and it's not supposed to be there. But every time my body says to liquefy, now I have this liquid on the outside of my uterus going all over my other organs because it's liquid, so it can move around. And then it'll harden up on different tissues when it's time to stop. That's the best way I can simplify what that is. And
that's crazy. You and your best friend both had that.
Yeah. So she told me that my uterus and my bladder was together. It was like one. So she had to go in and separate it. Oh, man. Yeah. That was rough. But my periods were so much better.
After that.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So much better. And then 2 years later, I was starting getting pain like clockwork. Like within 2 years, I went back and I was like, you got to do that again. Like, I'm starting to hurt. You got to work your magic.
Do it again.
And she didn't hesitate at all. She was like, let's do this. I know, like, she was being supportive. She knew I wasn't just being
exaggerating.
So she went right in, and when I woke up, it was the same thing. I knew I was asleep for longer than I needed. And I was like, what happened this time? She was like, it got all down into your colon, like, like where you poop. Like, I mean, she's scraping my,
So what's the cause of this? How do they fix that?
There is no cure.
So you just got to keep getting it done?
So this is the
endometriosis. And so you have to think about it. Every time they go in and scrape, that is scar tissue around all my reproductive organs, all my, just whatever organ she's cleaning this off of to relieve my pain. I'm now developing scar tissue every time she goes and do this. So I knew then my time is really ticking. Yeah. And I was only 24 years old. 24, 25. I was like, the clock is ticking because I'm now having scar tissue that I'm about to have to, it's about to start getting in the way of things. And so I found she told me I needed to go see a fertility doctor immediately. So I did. I went. We found one in Houston. My cousins went too. They got 2 babies, and they're amazing. And so I went, and at that point, I was like getting really up there with my weight. And my doctor, the fertility doctor, was like, we can do all this. We can get the ball rolling. She's like, but you need to lose some weight because, you're making yourself high risk. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, So I went to start seeing a weight loss specialist there in Swanee, and I love it. And she knew I had PCOS. And so she didn't tell me, but behind my back, she was taking all my files and she was giving them to the University of Houston, their medical program. So they was actually doing a study on me because she said I was like one of the worst cases she had seen with PCOS.
Yeah.
And she was really trying to bring awareness to the students, showing them that there's so many people that come in trying to lose weight. But you see how hard it is for her, though? Yeah. Like, the other people, I'm like, oh, throw you on some medicine and boom, you weight drop it. It's not working for her. Yeah. So she was really trying to come up with them to come up with a plan for me. Like, what is y'all's ideas, you know? So I just remember I had a dream while I was seeing her for about a year, and I had a dream. And in the dream, I had a child. And I remember telling my child, come on, let's go running. Come on, let's go, like, to go work out. And my child laughed at me. Like, I swear to God. And my feelings was so hurt. I was like, hold up. Like,
what's funny, man?
Oh, my feelings was hurt. And I woke up that morning and I immediately made an appointment. I told my doctor, we got to do something now.
Yeah.
Like, something now. Like, my child not to be laughing at me. And so I told her, I said, I want a gastric sleeve, like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I want something tomorrow.
Your insurance cover that?
Yeah, because of my PCOS.
Oh, I don't have no PCOS.
Well, tell the doctor to tell me. Yeah.
Hey, it might work.
See, they gotta look at me like, I don't know.
If you have underlying medical issues, your insurance are supposed to approve it. But yeah, so I told her, she sent me to a facility in Houston. Shout out to the Davis Clinic. I'm just gonna shout them out. But Dr. Promomo. So I went in. It was COVID. So me and him first meeting is over the computer, and he was like, why are you wanting a gastric sleeve? I mean, I'm 24, 25 years old. So he's looking at me like, you just lazy.
Yeah. Get your big ass up and do some work.
Yeah. And so he's like, why are you wanting? And I was like, I just need to lose weight. Like, I got to get back to my old self. I want a kid one day, And he was like, well, I don't do cosmetic surgery. Oh, I got mad. I was like, this is not for cosmetic. Like, I really just want to lose weight to be healthy. Like, it's nothing to do with cosmetic. And he said, well, I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to pass. And as soon as he said that, I was like, I have PCOS. Like, when he heard me say that, it's like you saw a whole different person come out of him. He was like, you have PCOS? I was like, yeah.
Felt better.
He said, why didn't you say that as soon as you got on the,
I was like,
yeah. So when I went to see him, he was like, you have to understand PCOS is it affects your metabolic system. So the best way he described it, he said, think of your body, it's like a thermostat. He says it's set at a certain temperature. And no matter what the temperature in the house get, that thermostat is gonna make sure it works to get it back to where it's set at.
Yeah.
It's like, so your thermostat is set to gain weight. He says, so no matter what diet you get on, your body's going to get used to it, and it's going to figure out, what do I need to do while on this diet to now retain weight? It's like, so for the rest of your life, you're always going to have to be on like a shifting diet. You're going to have to always
do something different.
Yeah, shock your metabolism. So like if you're doing like a high protein, keto, just like after that week, do like a bunch of fat, sugar, like just throw it off. Feels like, and then you'll go back. So for the rest of your life, you got to do that. And so I was like, okay, like I wasn't knowing all this. Nobody was telling me this. Yeah. So we did the surgery, had lost the weight. So I went back to see my fertility doctor. I'm like, I'm going to get pregnant, And so she's like, you want to try on your own since you lost, I think I lost like 60 pounds at the time. She's like, you want to try on your own? I was like, yeah, absolutely, So she was having me every month for like 6 months to see if I was ovulating. Found out I was not ovulating. Never, not one time did I ovulate. So I was having periods, but I wasn't ovulating. So she told me pretty much, the best way she explained it, she says it's like your ovaries know it's time to ovulate. Because I would always hurt when I was ovulating. Like, girls are supposed to be like ready to, we know we got
a freak out.
Yeah. But me, I was like, don't touch me. I was always in pain.
Yeah.
And she said, so pretty much your body is wanting to drop a seed, but it's having a hard time doing it. And instead, it's pushing it out of the actual side of the ovary, causing me to now get cysts on my ovaries. And so I was dealing with that from the PCOS. Because PCOS,
going on.
yes, PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. So that day that I was hunched over at the lunch table, that's because I was having a cyst rupture. And all the scarring was from cysts rupturing on my ovaries. And it was just scarring my ovaries. So I was like, okay. So I had that going on. We had decided, this is 2023. So in February of 22, I was tired of trying. I wasn't ovulating clearly. And I was like, hey, let's go and make some babies in the lab. Let's just do it. Because like you, they told me your egg count is low. And I was like, what? No.
Yeah.
No, I'm in my
20s.
Yeah, but I think
that.
Yeah, I think because everything my body went through probably just took a toll. So I was like, okay, so we need to do this. So I was on the hormones is crazy. They put you on number one. So with the hormones, and then we go in. They literally put me under, take my eggs, and then they take some of his sperm, put it together. So right now, we haven't used them, but right now I have 10 embryos.
Oh, Jesus.
So I walked away with 15 that day. So crazy because they don't tell you how emotional. I don't know. Everybody's perspective of life is different, but to me, that is life already. Like they're together. Like they're 7 days old and they're frozen at 7 days. They've been frozen at 7 days for over a year now, or like maybe 2 years. So, but when I woke up from the procedure, I immediately started crying. And so John was like, what are you crying for? I said, we just made life. So he was like, what? I was like, no, we did. Like, it's in a test tube or whatever, but it's growing. It's literally growing right now. It's like it's happening.
Yeah.
So every other day they would call you and tell you the progress. So I had walked away with 15. And so every day they were like, okay, one didn't make it. And I'm like, oh God, like you're pacing. You're literally waiting on the next phone call. All right, 3 didn't make it. We're down to 11, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, you're trying to get to day 7. That's when they're full blastocysts and they can freeze them. So they take a tiny bitty snippet from each embryo. Probably can't even see it. Gotta use a microscope. So, and then they take it, they test the DNA. And so when I reached day 7, they were like, you have 10 of them. And that's a lot for anybody that goes to that. Usually you hear women dealing with fertility saying, maybe 1 or 2, So I was told 10. They were like, girl, it's like, what am I supposed to do with 10 kids?
Give them to somebody. Donation.
I was like, no. So, yes, that's crazy. So 10 kids, I'm like, I gotta find me a school bus. And but so
one of a girl.
Yeah, so they said I have 4 girls and 6 boys.
Oh, Jesus.
Because they test the genetics already.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about it, they test the genetics and you go and sit in front of the doctor. They have this paper of the details of each embryo. And they tell you like the grade of it. Like it's the horse. Like this is a,
Class A.
Yeah.
Here.
This is a thoroughbred. And I'm like, oh yeah? Like,
give me that one.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. But yeah, like they give me the whole breakdown. Like, this is like high ranking. This looks good. This is like, oh, that's a healthy, like, or they'll test for like any diseases, like everything under the sun.
That's
so
crazy.
So I could walk in there today and be like, I want a girl, and I want this one, the highest ranking. Yeah. And so I did ask them like, why would I pick one over the other? And they told me that if you choose a higher ranking one, the chances of them surviving the whole process, being implanted back into you, is greater. So. Yeah, we did that. And I said, okay, well, we went on vacation 2 months after that. And I was like, when we get back from vacation, maybe we'll try. Maybe.
So you didn't get it implanted before?
No. Because that March, we had did it. And then the following month, I was like seeing so much stuff on the news. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I do that. Yeah. And John was like, we just spent all this money. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know anymore. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, people going through too much. And so We went on vacation and I got pregnant.
Out there humping like rabbits.
It was the gin and tonic.
Hennessy for you, gin and tonic for you.
That make you sin. But
Definitely.
But I was told I couldn't ovulate.
Yeah.
So I had not been on any protection.
Wasn't doing nothing.
For 7 years. Because I just thought I couldn't get pregnant.
You know,
that's what I was told. And so boom, it happened. And now I'm a mom today. So